Good to have you on Tesla Shorts Time, daily, episode 514. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Today is June 18th, 2026. Lots happening across deliveries, FSD, and the stock today. Tesla's FSD update will remember owners' parking preferences and reduce repeated manual inputs during daily drives. Tesla filed for regulatory approval of supervised full self-driving in Taiwan. The application targets the supervised version for review in a new major Asian market. This follows prior supervised rollouts in other regions and requires full regulator sign-off before any launch. Approval would expand the geographic footprint of the current supervised stack. The filing reflects ongoing efforts to secure business clearances in additional markets. Regulators will now examine the submission in detail, from market expansion efforts to the software features that will actually run in those markets. Upcoming FSD releases will let owners recall familiar parking spots and habits without repeated inputs. Grok voice integration is also planned for the supervised stack. The changes aim to cut manual steps on daily drives while staying within the supervised framework. Owners can expect the updates in a future software branch. Development ties into broader improvements for the current supervised system. While the software improves, capital allocation is shifting away from vehicles entirely. Tesla's capital expenditure guidance now allocates the majority of the $25 billion plan toward AI infrastructure and robotics programs. The shift moves resources away from traditional vehicle manufacturing lines. The plan reflects internal prioritization of autonomy and humanoid development. Investors are evaluating how the reallocation affects near-term vehicle margins. Future earnings updates will detail the split between hardware and software spending. Capital questions lead directly into questions about data integrity behind autonomy claims. Investigators claim Tesla submitted altered safety statistics during European FSD approval reviews. The discrepancies involve collision and intervention rates that differ from internal logs. If confirmed, the findings could trigger re-examination of existing approvals and new data requirements. Tesla has not yet issued a public response to the specific allegations. Data questions aside, real-world efficiency comparisons are emerging between Tesla and rivals. EPA documents show the Rivian R2 performance matches the Model Y in energy consumption, despite being roughly 500 pounds heavier. The result comes from differences in aerodynamics, motor calibration, and battery management. Both vehicles post identical consumption figures under the same test cycle. The comparison highlights how weight alone does not determine efficiency outcomes. Future production versions will confirm whether the numbers hold in real-world use. Vehicle efficiency numbers rarely line up so cleanly across different architectures. The Rivian R2 posting identical consumption to the Model Y while carrying several hundred extra pounds points to how aero, motor mapping, and thermal systems can offset mass penalties. The result is not an accident of testing conditions, but a reminder that curb weight is only one variable among many that determine real-world energy use. When two vehicles reach the same EPA figure through different design choices, buyers and fleet operators gain more flexibility in selecting body styles or payload ratings without immediate efficiency trade-offs. That flexibility matters for margins because it widens the set of configurations that still meet customer range expectations. It also reduces the pressure to chase every last kilogram of weight reduction at the expense of interior space or feature content. Efficiency insights connect to how companies study rivals' hardware costs. Tesla and Ford disassembled Chinese market EVs to study component choices and cost structures. Engineers noted specific design decisions that lowered production expenses. The findings highlighted differences in battery integration and assembly methods. Both companies are applying similar cost analysis approaches to their own programs. The work shows how competitive benchmarking influences component sourcing. Hardware benchmarking gives way to the first regulatory numbers on Tesla's own next-generation vehicle. EPA filings list the Cybercab's curb weight, power output, and estimated range. The vehicle sits several hundred pounds below the lightest current Model 3. Power and range figures align with earlier prototype disclosures. The data provides the first regulatory benchmark for production planning. Fleet operators will use the numbers to model energy and payload requirements. A driver activated FSD during a sudden health event and reached help through the Tsla app. The combination of supervised autonomy and remote connectivity allowed the vehicle to continue safely. First responders later credited the features for shortening response time. The incident shows how current supervised tools can function in unplanned situations. Regulators in the Netherlands counted roughly 40,000 vehicles running Tesla's supervised FSD package. The figure comes from vehicle registration and software telemetry data. Officials are monitoring usage patterns ahead of any future policy changes. Android users will soon receive real-time charging status updates similar to iOS Live activities. The feature displays progress without opening the full app. Development closes a long-standing parity gap between platforms. Tesla's combination of app-based access, location tracking, and software locks makes unauthorized starts difficult. Owners report lower theft concerns compared with conventional vehicles. The system requires authenticated phone keys or account credentials for operation. Law enforcement data cited in the report shows fewer successful thefts. The design reduces the value of physical key duplication attempts. Reports indicate that the layered security approach has contributed to measurable drops in reported incidents for Tesla vehicles. A household driving 2 Teslas 500 miles weekly reported lower monthly electricity costs than expected. The bills reflected home charging at standard residential rates. The couple compared the figures against prior gasoline expenses for similar mileage. The outcome shows how home charging economics vary by utility pricing and driving patterns. No public charging network costs were included in the calculation. The experience highlighted how consistent residential rates can produce predictable weekly expenses for high-mileage households. Polestar UK shifted away from Tesla-style direct sales toward a hybrid retail model. The change includes physical showrooms and test drive centers in key cities. Management cited customer preference for in-person evaluation before purchase. The revised approach aims to increase test drive volume and brand visibility. Early results will be tracked through regional registration data. The pivot reflects an effort to address buyer hesitation observed in markets where online-only channels dominate. Elon Musk exercised additional options and increased his Tesla shareholding. The transaction added to an already substantial position valued at over $100 billion. Timing coincides with ongoing speculation about potential corporate combinations. The filing shows continued personal capital commitment to the company. Investors are watching for any follow-on statements on strategic direction. The increased stake comes amid broader market discussion of long-term alignment between Tesla and related ventures. Patent images reveal Lucid's planned Cosmos SUV design. The vehicle targets the same size class as the Model Y. Styling cues and proportions suggest a direct competitor for the Australian market. The accidental release gives early insight into Lucid's next product timing. Production plans remain subject to final regulatory and supply chain milestones. The drawings surfaced through standard patent processes without prior official announcement. A former Tesla executive has launched a company to produce the residential heat pump previously discussed by Elon Musk. The product targets home energy efficiency and integration with solar and storage systems. Development continues after Tesla's own heat pump program paused. Early prototypes focus on cost and installation simplicity. Market entry timing will depend on supply chain and certification progress. The new venture seeks to deliver hardware that aligns with residential solar ecosystems, already in widespread use. The 3 companies are scaling a joint robotaxi effort across multiple continents. Stellantis vehicles will integrate Wave autonomy software under Uber's ride-hailing network. The alliance aims to accelerate deployment beyond single market tests. Initial operations will focus on controlled urban corridors. Expansion plans include coordinated regulatory filings in several jurisdictions. The partnership structure combines vehicle manufacturing scale with established ride-hailing infrastructure. A pilot program places vacuums at certain charging locations for quick interior cleaning. Owners can use the equipment while the vehicle charges. The amenity targets short dwell times during road trips. Early sites are being evaluated for usage and maintenance needs. Feedback from initial locations will guide decisions on wider rollout. The addition provides a practical service that aligns with typical supercharger stop durations. Before we go, keep an eye on how the Taiwan filing and the upcoming software features interact once regulators begin their review. And that's a wrap on today's Tesla news. TSLA closed at $398.19, up $1.81, 0.5%. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating or review. It genuinely helps other Tesla fans find us. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. And before you go, this show is part of the NARA Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give Environmental Intelligence a listen, the Environment and Climate Policy Brief for Canada. You can explore the whole lineup at naranetworked.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.